What's up, Dirty Cones? So the question is, today, if you could make the perfect student, but more so the question was like, I'm 15 years old, what should I do? To prepare myself. And I think as you heard me before, I always say, everything you do prepares you for your future. So here's for instance, I am 12 classes away from finishing law school, and I haven't exactly figured out what kind of law I want to practice, but everyone's like, oh, you're going to do patent law, and usually they say if you're going to do patent law, then you should, maybe have a chemical background, or bioengineering, or blah, 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 some certain thing that would need a patent, and of course I don't have that kind of degree, and but I think I could do it, because it's a lot of research, and researching I'm actually pretty good at, and also legal paper writing, so I'm not going to listen to anybody saying what I should do. I'll just figure it out myself, but it's a good point in that, if you want to do something, you want to have a good basis, so, teamwork, you learn teamwork on team sports, so maybe football, or soccer, or something, but then again, to be a PJ, you got to be used to being by yourself, and working on your own, and, trusting in your ability, so wrestling, fencing, tennis even, but then again, there's the teamwork, and there's the swimming pool aspect, so water polo, underwater basket weaving, so everything you think, you're like, what am I really learning from this? What are you learning from this? You're learning, it's English class, so you're learning how to construct sentences. You're learning how to speak, without saying and a lot. You're learning, sentence structure, so you can write bullet papers, so you can write warning orders, so you can do all this stuff. So, math. What is math? I'm never going to use math. Math, miles per gallon. How much of the drug am I supposed to deliver per minute? How much am I supposed to deliver per kilogram? How much am I supposed to deliver, period? So all these things build on each other, and so it's something you might think, well, what am I learning? You learn situational awareness, sitting around the mall staring at girls, you don't think you're getting anything out of it. Well, you're getting out of, how to notice people, what you're looking for. The Marines have a course for teaching guys, when you're out there, what to look for. Is the person submissive? Are they dominant? Are they scared? Are they not scared? Do they look out of the ordinary? Or is it the middle of summer and they're wearing a heavy jacket? All that kind of stuff. So what you think is daydreaming is preparing yourself for the real world. So, pay attention in class, learn to be smart, get on the debate, team. You'd be surprised how many times you have to debate stuff, and you come up with somebody who can quote the regulations, but just because they can quote the regulations doesn't mean you can't argue with them, because they might be quoting it wrong, or maybe their interpretation, there's even something like Indoc, for pull-ups, it says the chin must go above the bar. Well, above the bar, does that mean it's got to be above the bar, or does it mean it just has to go over the bar? Over, above, what the hell? So things like that. Let's see what else. Read up on warfare, read up on the Spartans, read up on Greeks, read up on classical music. The more you know when you meet people, because operators of all kinds tend to be a different breed of people. We're not like normal people. I remember a couple years ago, one of the crow's singular wife, but in that she owned this statement because she's saying it. Anyway, so the dude's wife was saying, you guys think you're all normal because you hang out with each other all day, but this isn't what regular people are like. And it kind of got me to think, I'm like, that's true, because you get out and you get around regular people and you expect that they can read a map, or that they should well, you drove to my house once. How do you not remember how to get there? Or that they'll, look at that hole. Like, we could just drive through it. Those kind of things that people miss, and because they're not paying attention, and hey, that's lucky if you can go through life and not have to pay that much attention to details and things, because you're so used to people waiting to kill you that, it's kind of hard to slow down sometimes. But it is nice when you can turn it off, if you can turn it off. So that would be something in the long run. If you can learn to relax and not always be on the verge of jumping out of your seat waiting for something, that'll help you in the long run. A lot less stress, bring that blood pressure down, and but that's a hard thing. But back to the original point is that there are sommeliers, dudes who know wine. There are artists. There are people that know all kinds of obscure facts about music. Which, another thing, get into movies and learning quotes and random facts about it, because Stump the Chump, on movies and things is a pretty big game, where you're deployed or you're somewhere, sitting on an airplane waiting to go do stuff, and you're bored out of your mind, and you're like, well, this quote came from, and you say the quote, and then people say, oh yeah, that movie was this. Don't be a jerk. Man, I hate people. And yeah, so people don't pull over when the fire department comes. Anyway, so learn everything you can get your hands on. Read the book, rent the movie, learn the quote, so you can talk to people and they'll be like, oh yeah, he's good. Let's see what else. Learn to get along with people that maybe you don't always like. I know that sounds hardcore, but you're gonna work with people that you're not gonna like. There are gonna be people that you're just like, oh, if this dude was on fire, I wouldn't pee on him. Although I might put him out with a shovel. There are those people. So you're not gonna like everybody, but you might have to work with them. So my suggestion to you is to not cut people off. Let people over and learn to work with people. It's very important. Learn to relax and enjoying your off time. That's another, back to that other thing about winding down. Enjoy your free time. I don't know, pick up a hobby. You can't kick down doors or fly around all the time, and so it's good to have something you enjoy. I think that's what life's about. It's about enjoying things and enjoying what you got, and being happy with what you got. And so, man, what is this? Let's see. I know I'm all over the place today. Let's see. Make friends. Figure out what people like, what they do, what they don't. Like, you're gonna get to meet people from like all over. All over. Say you grew up in your town, and most people maybe you grew up with, maybe they'll at least stay in your state. But in the military, you're gonna end up different countries, different planets in some aspects, because people that come from other states, you're like, well, dude, you were homeschooled, weren't you? And they're like, how can you tell? I'm like, I don't know. And you can spot an academy guy a mile away. Somebody from New Hampshire, maybe they're more pale. It just all kinds of people, and so it's a good time. Appreciate what you got. Appreciate what you have when you have it, because you're not always going to have it. So, like my little piece of home when I was deployed, pictures of my family, Reese's Pieces for those really bad days, and you're just sitting there, just eating one Reese's Pieces at a time going, this sucks, So all the things you're doing now will make who you are later. So, maybe not whining or complaining as much, because in the military there will be plenty of time to whine and complain, because there's all kinds of wasted time or wasted people or wasted opportunities or all kinds of stuff. So get used to not complaining too much, because nobody wants to hear somebody complain all day. I don't know, learn to drive, learn to shoot, learn how to shoot a bow and arrow, learn how to all kinds of stuff, learn how to cook, learn how to turn an MRE into a halfway decent meal, learn to speak foreign languages. If you can pick up a little bit of this, a little bit of that, when you go places, different cultures will, they appreciate that you're trying to learn their language, and they're not too hardcore on you, if you mispronounce the words. Well, maybe the French might be, but the rest of the known world, if you're trying to learn their language, they're pretty polite, especially the Japanese, pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't know. So, like I said, everything you're doing now is preparing you to be the adult that you'll be in the future. So, learn humility, learn empathy, learn sympathy, learn strength, learn to suffer, and learn to be quiet about it. Because it's all about being a silent professional. I think that's one of the big things that would be into me as a student, and I'm very grateful for it, because like the Rudyard Kipling poem, if you can walk with the common man, or if you can talk with kings and queens but not lose the common touch, so you gotta be able to talk to anybody and everybody, be respectful, learn some manners. Manners go a long way. You're at the MPF trying to get paid, and yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. I don't think anybody's ever complained, man, that guy was just way too polite, versus, man, that dude was a dick, I'm not helping him, and then your pay's a mess. And I'm not saying that they will do that on purpose, but they may or may not help you either, because man is fallible, and also prone to not liking jerks. So be polite, be courteous, be reverent, be kind, be a Cub Scout, be prepared. There's the big one, be prepared. I think on Instagram I'm following a kid named Cub Scout Prepper, or Scout Prepper, and he's got some pretty good stuff. And I do say, if you can get away from saying, your life will probably be a lot better. I don't say as much when I'm not driving, but the thinking and driving thing, I guess it's almost like walking and chewing gum. Well, not that hard, but sometimes random conversations. But anyway, let's see. Learn that everything you have is everything you have with you. Everything. Things that you think won't tie in, they might work. Something you heard today, some random quote or random factoid, ends up being, hey, I know how to build a 3-to-1, or I know how to do this or that. And so that's pretty important. But what I meant was, it's better to have a gun and not need one than to need a gun and not have one. So if you're not carrying it and you're out there, you don't have it. So, it's not like Call of Duty where, I'll just go to the other screen and look, I can switch weapons. No, you're not going to be running around with 8 different types of guns. So, get used to that. Learn detour ahead. Look at that, the sign just spoke to me. God, the world, allows for detours and U-turns. So if you find that you're doing the wrong thing or you are on the wrong path, such as, I don't know, maybe you're drinking too much, or maybe, you're not nice to people, there's nothing wrong with, you stop and you go, this is not how I want to live my life. I'm going to change. People might give you some crap, might, be like, you were a jerk, but when you show that you're sorry for what happened, you want to change, people were understanding towards that, because, life's all about change and growth, and becoming who you are, and sometimes to become who you are, you gotta go through some crappy times, some of the happiest people on the planet I've seen are people who had horrible, lives growing up, and some of the poorest people are the happiest people. So it's not about what you have or things like that. It's who you are and who you choose to be. So, yeah, I hope this helps. There is a dude. There's always a dude. There's a cone in Fort Worth, looking for other cones in Fort Worth, and there's a couple cones in Germany, and I know there's a couple dudes in Virginia Beach. So if you would write down in the comments, be like, hey, I'm looking for, I'm over here in Kentucky, and I'm looking for somebody to work out with, and they don't have to be cones, maybe you can make them cones, because cones are highly, what's that word, communicable. It's a disease, and it just doesn't go away. And so, find someone who wants to be a SEAL or a Ranger, or, I'm just somebody who likes misery and wants to be an underwater basket weaver. Talk to that guy or girl and train with them. Nothing says you can't go different paths, but they're all kind of parallel to each other. So find people, talk to people, be kind to old people. Old people like to be talked to, and they probably have some lessons that they can teach you. And in Texas, don't speed on the access road. Let's see. Enjoy the clouds. Don't get addicted to caffeine. And love life. And I think you'll be alright. So, I hope that answers the questions. Hope everybody's having an enjoyable day. It is a beautiful day. I wish I was at the beach. But I'm happy I can go home and see my kids, kick them around a little bit, and sleep in a nice warm bed, because somewhere in Afghanistan or Iraq or Horn of Africa is some PJ or just some airman, sailor, soldier, marine who, wishes they were home. So be happy you're at home with what you got, and have a good one. Thanks.